Ruby has weakness in the muscles needed for eating and drinking, especially safely. To eat and drink, it takes over 30 different muscles, and they have to be very coordinated and work together.
Obviously, they can't talk. I think that's the hardest part of our job, is figuring out why and what is happening.
A lot of the times, these children are coughing or choking during their bottles, or they're not eating as much as they should be. So for Ruby, I was working on her cheek muscles because her cheeks were very weak. To turn those muscles on, I'm pushing on the inside of her cheek. Her cheek, when it pushes back, will bring my finger to the middle of her mouth, which is where the bottle nipple will be. Feeding is both an oral motor skill, which is where speech comes in, but also a fine motor skill, which is where occupational therapy comes in.
So I want to make sure her body is positioned right, so when she's eating safely. Just overall sensory regulation, so if the room is too cold, does she need to be swaddled? Are the lights too bright? Is it hurt her the way we're holding her, or is it her throat?
Ideally, we get her muscles stronger so that eventually she doesn't have to do those exercises every day, or that she doesn't have anyone have to perform them on her to get her muscles working correctly. Kids can be seen at any age, so it can start as young as in the NICU. At Mary Free Bed at Covenant, our occupational therapists work with them there.
We can kind of like bounce off of one another. So even if it's, say, the OT's spot to do that, speech therapy says, well, what about this?
Bailey and I, we work very closely with physiatry, Dr. Gonzalez, our pediatric GI doctors, Dr. Kareem, and then ENT professionals as well.
Just having an impact in the little kiddo's life, whether it's 11 weeks old like Ruby or 5 years old, just being part of the positive mealtime.
And for any kid that is on a feeding tube, getting them off is my big motivating factor, because it's nice to just not need that medical technology anymore. It's nice to know that because of what you did, these children are able to participate more like a normal child.